docking bay alarm was still screaming when I saw her fall. She hit the metal floor hard, her thin arms folding under her like they had no bones left. Around her, a crowd of traders and dock workers stepped back, fast, like she was on fire. Nobody moved to help. A few of them actually turned away, pulling their children close, muttering words I couldn't understand but didn't need to. I was carrying a crate of medical supplies across the bay when it happened. My name is Colin Ashford, and I had been working this trading station for almost 2 years. I had seen strange things. I had seen worse things. But I had never seen a whole crowd of people look at someone dying on the floor and simply decide she wasn't their problem. She was Ilvath. I knew the species by sight, though I had never spoken to one. Pale blue skin, faint light moving under it like veins made of glowing water, and eyes too large for her narrow face. The Ilvath were rare this far out. Rare, and, if the rumors were true, dangerous to be near. A Vraxel trader standing close to her shifted his cargo hover away, like her collapse might spread to his goods. A Choth merchant, small and quick, actually hissed something and backed into his stall. Even Grant Whitmore, the station's human logistics officer, glanced at her, then looked at his datapad instead, pretending he hadn't seen anything at all. I put my crate down. "Someone call the medical bay," I said. No one answered. No one even looked at me. I walked over anyway. The floor near her was cold, station cold, the kind that seeps into your boots within seconds. She was shaking, her thin fingers curled against her chest, and there was a wound along her shoulder that had been bandaged badly, days ago, by someone in a hurry. "Hey," I said, crouching down. "Can you hear me?" Her eyes opened, huge, dark, and full of something I recognized immediately, because I had felt it myself once, a long time ago. Fear that had stopped expecting help. "Don't," said a voice behind me. It was Grant. "You don't know what they do. My cousin worked a route near Ilvath space. Said their kind can get inside your head. Feel what you feel. Use it." "She's not using anything," I said. "She's dying." "That's not our problem," said the Vraxel trader, his voice low and rattling through his translator box. "Her kind broke their own laws. Whatever she did, she is marked. No station owes her help." I didn't know what she had done. I didn't care. I had grown up in a house where help was never conditional, where my mother used to say that the moment you start deciding who deserves kindness, you've already lost the thing that makes kindness worth anything. So I held out my hand. She stared at it like she didn't understand the gesture. Maybe she didn't. Maybe on her home world, hands reaching toward you meant something else entirely. "It's okay," I said. "I've got you." The second her fingers touched mine, something changed in her eyes. Not fear anymore. Something closer to shock. I got her up, her weight leaning hard against my shoulder, and I started walking her toward the medical bay before anyone could stop me. Grant called after me. Something about station policy, about liability, about the Ilvath being flagged in 3 different systems. I ignored all of it. The medical bay on Station Halden Cross wasn't much, just a curved room with 3 cots and an automated scanner that worked about 70% of the time. The night nurse, a quiet woman named Priya Satha, looked up when I came in, her eyebrows lifting. "Colin, what is that?" "She needs help." "That's an Ilvath." "I know what she is." "She needs help, Priya." Priya hesitated only a second before she moved, because whatever else people said about her, she was a good nurse, and good nurses don't ask a dying patient for their paperwork first. She got the woman onto a cot, ran the scanner, and started working on the shoulder wound while I stood back, out of the way, my heart still hammering from the last 10 minutes. It took almost an hour before the woman's breathing settled into something steady. Priya stepped out to update the log, leaving me alone with her. "Why?" the woman said. Her voice was quiet, careful, like she wasn't used to using it out loud. A small translator device clipped to her collar hummed faintly with each word. "Why did you touch me?" "Because you needed help." They all knew what I am. They stepped away. "You did not know, and still you stepped closer." "I didn't need to know," I said. "That's kind of the point." She studied me for a long moment, her large eyes moving over my face like she was reading something written there. "My name is Cyril," she finally said. "I am marked in 9 systems. My own colony exiled me. Do you understand what that means?" I shook my head. "No, but I'm guessing you're about to tell me." A small, tired sound came from her throat, something between a laugh and a breath. "The Ilvath do not lie to each other. We cannot. When we touch skin to skin, we feel what the other feels, truly feels, not what they say. It makes deception impossible among us. It also makes us very good at knowing when someone else is lying, even those who are not Ilvath." "That sounds useful, not dangerous." It is both, she said. My colony used that gift to serve powerful people, traders, officials, even a few crime syndicates further out toward the rim. They would bring me into rooms to sit near visitors, to touch their hands during greetings, and I would tell them who was lying and who was not. I did this for years. I believed I was helping keep my people safe. What happened? Her light dimmed slightly under her skin, the way I imagine a person's face might pale. I discovered they were using me to find which visitors could be safely betrayed, which contracts could be broken without consequence, which travelers had no one who would come looking for them. I was not protecting my colony. I was helping them choose victims. The words landed heavy in the small room. So I refused, she continued. I told the elders I would not do it again. They called it treason against the colony's survival. I was cast out within a day, marked. My name sent to 9 systems so that no trading station would take me in. No Ilvath community would shelter me, and no one, anywhere, would offer me their hand. Until today, I said quietly. Until today, she echoed, and there was something in the way she said it, something that made the small room feel very still. I should have known then that the story wasn't finished, but I was tired, and relieved she was breathing steady, and for a moment, I let myself believe the hardest part was over. I was wrong. 3 days later, a ship dropped out of transit near Station Halden Cross, sleek and dark, with markings I didn't recognize but Priya did, the moment she saw them on the scanner feed. That's a colony enforcement vessel, she said, her voice tight. Ilvath colony markings. They don't send those out here unless they want something back. My stomach dropped. Sorel was still recovering in the medical bay, her shoulder healing but her strength still returning slowly. When I told her about the ship, her light flickered rapidly under her skin. An Ilvath sign I would later learn, of fear. They have come for me, she said. Why now? Why here? Because word travels. Someone on this station reported a marked Ilvath had been taken in. My colony cannot allow an exile to survive somewhere safely. It threatens the mark itself. If I live, others might believe they could refuse too. Station Halden Cross had exactly one security officer, a tired man named Callum Doyle who mostly handled cargo disputes and drunk traders, not colony enforcement vessels demanding the return of an exile. When the Ilvath ship docked and 3 armored figures walked into the station corridor, Callum met them alone, his hand resting near a stun baton he'd probably never fired outside of training. I was there too, standing further back, my crate of supplies forgotten somewhere behind me. We are here for the exile-designated Cyril, said the lead enforcer, her translator voice flat and clipped. Station records show she was taken into your medical facility 3 days ago. She's a patient, Callum said. Under station protection. She has no rights to protection. Her mark is registered in 9 systems, including this trade route. This station isn't in Ilvath space, Callum said, his voice steadier than I expected. Your mark doesn't apply here. If she wants to stay, that's a station matter, not a colony one. The enforcer's light pulsed, sharp and quick, and for a second I thought this was going to turn ugly fast. Then Cyril stepped forward from behind me, her legs still unsteady, her shoulder still bandaged. I will speak, she said. The lead enforcer's eyes fixed on her immediately. You have no voice among the colony anymore. Then I will speak as someone outside it, Cyril said, her translator carrying a strength I hadn't heard from her yet. I was cast out because I refused to help you choose victims. I have done nothing since that would justify your presence here, on a station that owes your colony nothing. Your survival is the justification, the enforcer said. The mark exists to ensure exiles vanish. If you remain seen and alive, it tells every future exile that refusal has no true cost. I felt something cold settle in my chest, because I understood, finally, exactly what kind of system Sorel had escaped. Not just cruelty. A machine built to make cruelty look inevitable. She's not going anywhere, I said, stepping up beside her before I had fully decided to. The enforcer's gaze shifted to me. You are human. I am. Humans have no authority over Ilvath colony law. Maybe not, I said, but this station runs under Trade Alliance rules, and those rules say no one gets forcibly removed from a neutral station without a formal claim filed through Alliance channels. You want her, you file it. You don't just walk in here with armed enforcers and take her. It was, admittedly, something I half remembered from a briefing months ago, and I said it with more confidence than I actually felt. But Callum backed me up immediately, his hand tightening on his baton, and behind him, 2 more station workers stepped forward, drawn by the tension in the corridor. Grant Whitmore, of all people, appeared at the edge of the group, still holding his datapad, but standing there nonetheless. The enforcer studied the growing group in front of her. calculating something behind those large dark eyes. "This is not finished," she finally said. "Maybe not," I answered. "But it's not happening today." The enforcers left within the hour, their ship pulling away from the docking clamps and vanishing back into transit. Nobody knew if they would return, if a formal claim would actually be filed, if colony law had any teeth this far from Ilvath space. But for that day, standing in that corridor, it hadn't mattered whether the rules were perfectly on my side. It had mattered that someone was willing to stand there and say no. Cyril didn't say much afterward. She sat by the observation window of the medical bay, watching the stars where the enforcement ship had disappeared, her light glowing steady and calm under her skin for the first time since I'd met her. "I did not expect this," she said eventually. "Not the ship leaving, not you standing there." "I didn't expect any of it either," I admitted. "Among my people, there is a belief that humans act without calculation, that you help without measuring the cost first. My colony used to speak of it almost as a warning, a flaw to exploit, but I think now they misunderstood it." "How so?" "They believed it made humans predictable to manipulate. I believe now it makes you difficult to defeat. A system built on calculated cruelty has no answer for someone who simply refuses to calculate at all." I thought about that for a long time afterward, long after Cyril had recovered enough to walk the station corridors on her own, long after she'd found work helping Priya in the medical bay, her strange gift for reading truth turning out to be remarkably useful for diagnosing patients who couldn't quite describe their symptoms honestly. I never got a medal for what happened that day. Nobody wrote it into any official record beyond a short incident report Callum filed and probably nobody ever read. But sometimes, late at night, I still think about that moment in the docking bay, the crowd stepping back, the silence where help should have been. I think about how easy it would have been to step back too, and I think about how simple the whole thing actually was, in the end. Not a plan, not a calculation, just a hand, held out, because someone needed it, and that was reason enough.